Hi, this is Mark Mortellaro with Green Lodging Energy. Thanks for giving me a few minutes here to look at our thermostat network, EcoCentral. Any of your staff, authorized staff, dials in with a username and a password. If you're a director of operations, you can look at any of your properties throughout the world, throughout the country, and make changes to any specific room from the comfort of your home on an iPad, a computer, or a smartphone of any type. Here we're looking at some of the general information of the properties listed here. We can see room occupancy, how many rooms are occupied, how many are unoccupied, the thermostat mode, whether they're in heat or cool, the fan speeds, and then also the thermostat state if they're tied into the property management system. What we do there then is pick a specific hotel. Here we'll go into the Wyndham Garden Hotel and Suites in Amherst, New York. We can see that 21 of the rooms are occupied, 142 are unoccupied. 126 are in heat, 16 are in cool, and 21 are turned off completely. The fan speeds are 1 are in high, 2 are in low, and 160 are in the automatic mode. The thermostat state is tied into the property management system. So today they do have 31 rooms sold, 95 rooms are unsold, and 35 rooms are in a VIP mode, which probably has all energy management functionality turned off on those rooms for one reason or another. In the last 30 days in this property, we've had a decrease of runtime of their HVAC equipment of 65.47%. The 30 days prior to that, we had a decrease in runtime of 55.7. That meaning if a guest was in the room and sets the temperature on the thermostat, that temperature only fluctuates a degree or two from the guest set point. Normally when they leave, it still maintains that way. With an energy management system, what we're doing is floating that room from the guest set point and recovering it in a very fixed short amount of time so it goes virtually unnoticed to the guests but saves the hotelier greatly on energy costs. What we'll do here is go into thermostat status. We'll look at all the rooms in this hotel, which we're doing now. We can scroll up and down. The blue denotes an occupied room. The gray is an unoccupied room. So if we get a call at the front desk from guest in Mrs. Smith in room 407 and she says, "The room doesn't appear to be warming up quick enough for me. Can you help me with that?" We can see that she doesn't have her temperature turned up high enough. We can turn this temperature up to 75 degrees for her. Let's increase the fan speed here a little bit to get the air flowing, and we're going to save these settings now. We have just addressed a guest issue at the front desk without putting anybody in the room. And moving on, I've moved into a different room, 228B. I'm back at the front panel again, change any of the temperatures or settings, but I want to go into the historical data of the room. This shows you how we're achieving our savings. As you can see, the red line means that the room is in heat. It's set at 75 degrees. And when there is gray below, there's a person in the room at this time. So you can see that the temperature stays very close to the guest set point when they're in the room. Only upon their departure do we start dropping the temperature, gaining your savings. Again, when they're in the room, we're always within a degree or two of set point. When they leave the room is when we're going to manipulate the temperature to gain your savings. Here you see somebody walk back in for a very short amount of time, but look at how rapidly the temperature was getting back to the guest set point. Again, here as they leave, we had another, I would guess that this was housekeeping or maintenance coming in again very briefly, but the temperature climbed close up to the set point and again dropping in the absence of any guests. What else we can show here for housekeeping, which is really advantageous, is I work with a lot of hotels that are in beach areas and such, and they don't want to knock on the door before 12 noon. Now, why we'll want to give access to the network to housekeeping is, I'll show you here on the infrastructure of the building. We can go to our floor planner and we can look at any of the floors in the building. And what we can do then with that floor planner is we see that there are all the temperature set points. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. Temperature set points and actual temperature in the room. We can also go and look at our greatest savings. From there, we can go to our cool savings percentages, see where we're saving the most money, heat savings. We can then move to occupancy. So for your housekeeping staff in the morning, instead of knocking on occupied rooms or waiting to a certain time to turn rooms, we can see now this hotel isn't very occupied today, so I'm going to zoom up, but we see this room here is occupied and a couple of others here. We can formulate our process of how we're going to go around the hall and not have to knock on any occupied rooms. Also, in our reporting, we have virtual engineer, and I'm just about done with this. I just want to show you a few things. Your top 10 runtime, or actually, we have runtime statistics on every unit that's has a thermostat. But if you're changing out units intermittently, it's nice to know, which of the devices are getting the greatest runtime. Also there, we can look at the lowest 10 running, excessive run time. Maybe there's dirty filter, bad fan, issue with the HVAC system. Why is it running excessively as opposed to the others? Battery reports. Here there are a listing for some of the devices where we have sensors in the rooms in a suite environment. And you can see all the percentages of the life left in the device. We've also have unoccupied rooms here also for just a quick list for housekeeping to go over prior to starting their rounds. We have light rooms, dark rooms. A lot of these may have to do with why the temperatures aren't setting or moving as great as other units. Excessive runtime here. This is really a neat graphic because it shows which rooms have the greatest runtime. As you would anticipate, this water room does not have any energy management. We just have thermostats in there so we can look at them and make changes or calculate or get warnings if there are any issues with the system. Although I haven't touched on many of the features of this software, I'd like to show you some of the reports that really give tangibility to the savings, how we're achieving them, and how we're getting there. If we go into performance and savings, we can go directly to thermostat detailed savings. This is telling us the mode the thermostat was in, the runtime history, the duty cycles, the runtime savings, and the savings percentage of every single thermostat in that building to give, as I said, tangible reports. We can also do a full site savings report, and that's going to show us here at this property, we've had on an average 24-hour day, where 18.13 hours we keep that system in cooling off. 13% we were smart off, which means that it was turned on because of the energy management system. Thank you very much for your time today. We appreciate it. Thank you very much for your time today. We appreciate it.